Coming up, how many people had voted so far? Those numbers in minutes. Plus, a new hike and bike trail is underway at UTRGV. Will a similar trail be built in Brownsville? And trick-or-treaters, you may want to listen to these safety tips before you ghoul out. KVAQ-TV starts now. Hey vaqueros, I'm Alexandra Salazar. This is the ninth fall edition of KVAQ-TV. Today is Monday, October 28th, and at the top of the newscast. Early voting continues this week and ends on November 1st. Here is an update on the number of registered voters and the early voting turnout on the first week in both Cameron and Hidalgo counties.
Last day to register to vote was October 7th, with the official numbers of registered voters currently at more than 400,000 for Hidalgo County and more than 200,000 in Cameron County. According to elections officials, voter turnout expectancy is high. For the first day of early voting last Monday, Cameron County received a total of 11,072 ballots. 211 of those ballots were casted at the UTRGV Student Union Salon Gardenia. In Hidalgo County, a total of 18,258 people voted on the first day, with 339 of those ballots submitted at the UTRGV Edinburgh campus. Cameron County Elections Administrator Remy Garza says the county observed an increase of registered voters since the last 2020 election.
We did have an increase in people submitting their applications to register by the deadline of October 7th. I think in 2020 we had approximately 219,000 people that were eligible to vote. Right now we're at 237,000 people who are registered to vote. So
Garza says the department receives the highest turnouts for the presidential election. Hidalgo County Elections Administrator Hilda Salinas says the department has 446,964 registered voters. She says the department is expecting a high voter turnout in Hidalgo County as well.
It is a presidential, and who and what measures are on the ballot is what drives the vote.
Garza says he expects participation from 120,000 to 125,000 people to participate in the election. Salinas says a maintenance check is conducted before the election to test logic and accuracy, and the public is permitted to view the testing process.
So that event is open to the public, and of course, for the candidates, everybody's invited to take a look at the process. This is where everything is checked to make sure that everything is tabulated correctly, even how the ballot reads. So anything and everything it's a test, that is offered, especially for the public to come in and check.
Early voting ends on November 1st and Election Day is November 5th. You can watch KVAQ-TV's election coverage at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th.
It's been a week since early voting began, and the number of ballots cast in Hidalgo County as of yesterday, 97,706 total voters, and 6,186 of those ballots were casted at UTRGV. In Cameron County, 51,726 voters casted a ballot with 1,199 from UTRGV. Here's a look at a few polling sites for registered and eligible voters in Hidalgo and Cameron County, including the ones here at UTRGV. Hidalgo County voters may also cast a ballot at the Edinburgh Student Academic Center lobby during the times and days on screen. In Cameron County, voters may cast a ballot at Salon Gardenia and the Student Union on the Brownsville campus during the following hours of operation. Voters are required to bring one of the 7 forms of ID, which include a Texas driver's license, a personal state ID, or one of the others listed on screen. Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th. For more information on voting, visit votetexas.gov. The deadline to register to vote may have passed, but the UTRGV Spring 2025 registration opens today. Early registration started last Friday for early undergraduate registration. For seniors, registration begins today. Junior registration opens Tuesday, sophomore registration opens Wednesday, and freshman registration opening this Thursday. For more information on registration, contact the Academic Advising Center at 956-665-7120. As KVAQ-TV reported last week, a new hike and bike trail is under construction on the Edinburgh campus and is expected to be ready by the end of the year. Assistant Vice President for Strategic Planning, Gerardo Rodriguez, says a new hike and bike trail will be more than 8,000 feet long and 9 to 10 feet wide. Rodriguez explains the UTRGV Brownsville campus started with its own hike and bike trail 3 years ago. However, the project is not finished due to UTRGV waiting to have ownership of some land, which is currently managed by the International Boundary and Water Commission.
Because the campus has some resacas, some of those water areas are owned by IBWC, and but there's been some informal agreements that may allow UTRGV to take ownership of some of those properties.
He elaborates on how the idea for the hiking bike trail came to life.
So that's where the idea started, that can we create a better walkway on the outside of the covered walkway that can enable all the different devices, mobile devices, to get around and keep them off of the covered walkway.
He says the trail is a combination of both new and pre-existing sidewalks that connects the campus all the way around it. The scheduled date of completion for the Edinburgh Hike and Bike Trail is December 15th. In light of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, UTRGV's Office for Victim Advocacy and Violence Prevention and University Police hosted the Vaqueros Stand-Up Against Domestic Violence.
Behind me is the ballroom where the event was hosted last Tuesday. Inside, different organizations and resources dedicated to the cause were offered. There is an estimate of 10 million cases of domestic violence in the U.S., according to the National Library of Medicine. That same source states that 1 in every 4 women and 1 in every 9 men have been victims of domestic violence. OAVP Associate Director of Special Programs, Priscilla Palacios, says how its department helps bring awareness and helps victims of an act of violence.
It allows them to reach out to someone and know who we are, so that way they are able to obtain those resources and maybe get that process started, should they need to talk to somebody about what they're going through.
Palacios explains the best advice she can give to those going through similar situations is by going to OAVP.
Let us know. We are here to help you. We are confidential. We are able to provide you with information and resources on what to do, where to go, how to report, and how to understand the reporting process.
University Police Community Engagement Officer Marco Huerta goes on to explain other resources UTRGV provides.
It provides many services, of course, starting with the police department, and then we have our victim services, and then OVET as well, and Title IX. So we take this very serious, anything having to do with any type of domestic violence, sexual assaults, anything like that. The university takes that very serious. So
Huerta goes on to give advice on what a person who has experienced domestic violence can do to handle the situation properly.
I know it may be hard, but we want them to report it as soon as possible, either talking to a friend, a family member, or even just reporting it to law enforcement, because it is very important. We need to handle this properly.
You can find resources available on utrgv.edu/OAVP or our website at utrgvtv.com.
Coming up, a look at UTRGV soccer and a local wrestling business. In soccer, UTRGV's men's soccer is recovering from yesterday's game and getting ready for a game this Thursday against Seattle University Red Hawks. The Vaqueros played against San Diego State last Thursday. UTRGV took action here at home with a scoreless 0-0 draw. And just last night, the Vaqueros defeated California Baptist University 2-0, taking home the last dub. The last 5 minutes, junior midfielder Cade Erickson forced a turnover, allowing UTRGV to maintain control. Freshman Pablo Torre then sealed the deal with a 2-0 victory in home finale. Up next, the Vaqueros are expected to play their next WAC game against Seattle University at 9 p.m. Thursday, October 31st. Over at the soccer field as well, UTRGV's women's soccer is focusing on goals.
UTRGV women's soccer team is just a few games away from the Southland Conference. KVAQ-TV visited the Vaqueros at practice as they prepare for these upcoming games. Senior center back Abby Bailey speaks on what to expect and how they work day to day will help reach the team's goals.
As a team, nothing that's guaranteed yet.
Mostly in the Mid-Valley. We're looking into forming our own school, having our own students so they can perform here in the Valley and beyond.
Garza says there is an art behind wrestling and anyone can pursue the sport. Anyone interested in the art of performance wrestling may contact Combat Cult Wrestling on Facebook.
Up next, what you need to know before you trick or treat. This is KVAQ-TV. The spooky season is officially here, and may have a few safety reminders you may want to follow this Halloween.
Trick or treat. Costumes can be scary, but a lack of safety awareness is scarier. Edinburgh's Police Department Lieutenant Gabriel Velarreina shares a few tips to keep in mind before you knock on doors. Stay visible, stay together, check your candy, and walk safely. Velarreina also says although the city of Edinburgh will not impose a curfew for the community this Halloween, there will be an increase of patrol in the neighborhoods to ensure no vehicles or people trespass or block the streets.
You know, we recommend to those people that are commuting in vehicles not to be stopping in middle of roadways, impeding traffic. All this causes congestion and in return it causes frustration. Just like we want you to be respected as you're crossing the streets by drivers, we want you to respect people's private property, including their lawns, including their driveways. Do not block anything that might be an issue, especially for emergency purposes.
Aside from traffic safety, McAllen Police Department Public Information Officer Sergeant John Science says adults should also be cautious when attending any social events.
The primary message is enjoy the Halloween season safely. In doing so, you know, what kind of activity am I going out to? Ask yourself. Do I need a designated driver? Anything that hinders the child or even the adult's ability to see a field of vision is important for whatever you're doing. If it hinders your vision, you should not operate a motor vehicle or, anything else.
Science also mentioned that if anyone spots a candy or an item that has been tampered with intentionally, or identifies a prank that go too far, contact your city's police department.
Anytime that emergency services responds, and if it's false in nature, someone can be liable criminally or civilly. Be mindful of pranks, decorations that might be too realistic. If we respond and it was a false report or a false claim, you can even be arrested.
For KVAQ-TV in Edinburgh, Perla Cortez.
That's all for our newscast. Make sure to watch us Monday through Friday on VCast monitors and on social media. For KVAQ-TV, I'm Alexander Salazar. V's up.